Good afternoon. Welcome to Daffern's in deepest Oxfordshire. I'm on the Guys Syndicate here today, and I'm going to be doing my Tenchy tackle box. It's long overdue. It's boiling hot today here on Unity. I've had a few fish this morning, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to do the Tenchy tackle box for Mr. Kalo. I wound the rods in, so my tackle box complete with stickers, tench fishers badges, all sorts of things. That's done some miles, and as promised, it's kind of as it is, and I'll run through all the bits and bobs in there. Say most of it sits in there one season to the next season without being used. I'll run through the bits that I do actually use. Okay, first off, fluorocarbon quarter IQ. I've used the Guru, soft, whatever, the normal fluoros, like those for my hook links, and pretty much use those exclusively. What's the next most important thing in here if I can find them? These are dwindling. An industrial hook, the old gold label tackle penetrator ones. Now, yeah, like you say, they're industrial. You could use them for, I've caught big carp on these, use them for barbel fishing and all sorts, but I tend to, or a great bit of advice from Kevin Nash years ago was use tackle. You know, what's the point of sitting there waiting for that bite and then losing it? So I always tend to use tackle that's probably, if I hook it, I've got every chance of getting the fish out. So strong hooks, so the penetrator ones, again, June Gibbinson said years ago, he'd written about it, that if you actually find something that you like, stock up on it, because you can guarantee, as sure as eggs is eggs, that the tackle manufacturers will move on and they'll bring out their next fandango sort of hook or line or whatever, and like you say, you'll be looking around for something to replace it. With the penetrator ones and twos, I stocked up on these because every time I used to go into Rob Eustace or Terry Eustace's shop over in Erdington, I used to go and buy sort of, you know, 8 or 10 packets up. So I've got enough to keep me going at the minute, and I keep finding bits in little tackle rig wallets and one thing and another at home. So I think I've probably got enough to keep me going for about another 2 seasons at least. But as I say, I've caught all sorts on those, all my big tench, and had some very, very big carp on those. I had one that was nearly £39 the other week. So again, with those two, tried and tested. Again, like a lot of things I do, a bit industrial, but it works and it catches me fish, both tench and the odd rogue carp. For my safe on fishing in a PVA bag, I'll use the Gardner, the size 8 Talon tips. Great hook, and I guess when I've run out of penetrator ones, I'll probably go over to the Talon tips, but I do like those with my PVA bags, and I normally tie those KD style with a boilie, and I use Darren McCann's or the Hook Bait Company's Tinkerberry wafters. Very, very good, and again, they've caught me bonus fish and they've caught me some big carp, especially down here on the Guys Syndicate. So what else we got in here? I'll probably give that a run as well. Obviously, Gardner were really, really generous at the SGM, and I won one of their little goodie bags. So again, I've used that. That ties up really nice fluorocarbon. The Target, very, very good. What else have we got in here? The old Fiskey's feeders. And again, I've got stocked up on these, but I know Paul will make them for you. So if I do fish ground bait or worm with a plug ground bait. I use these. You can sit on these, you can stand on these, like you say, and they just go back into shape. They're absolutely brilliant. Moving on through here, some fisheries that you visit, they won't let you use uncoated braids. So again, I've had ESP strip tees for years, pretty good. You can strip that back, well, that last little bit to create a hinge, so I like that. What else have we got in here? I use unleaded leaders, and a lot of the time I'll use Avid. That's really good, quite weighty. It hasn't got the lead core in it. Like I say, it's a weighted leader. I'll use that for carp and for tench, but again, pins everything down, and I use those for my helicopters. What else have we got in here? Obviously, I think these were the old angling times. I think we've all got some of these, the old clam tackle boxes, or clamshell tackle boxes, and they keep everything in there, and swivels and various different bits and bobs, and like I say, it just keeps everything neat and tidy and in one place. So that's in there as well. What else have we got? Use these Fox very thin baiting needles for using with the with worms. The thinner the better, because it does less damage. I don't tend to use quick stops, so I always have a good stock of at least 4 or 5 of these, because they are quite thin. And be careful with these, because when you stab yourself in the finger, they bloody hurt. But I tend to find that that doesn't do so much damage to the worm, and I actually then use, instead of quick stops, I use these pellet stops, which these, I think they were Tasker, but Bank Tackle do them, all sorts of different people do them, Cord, Fox. When it comes to bait, I keep the cool bag, or my cook bag. It's got a little cool bag section in there as well, so keep that in the shade. Unhooking mat in the shade as well, water bucket next to it. Got a tripod here because there is some big fish in the Guy Syndicate, and the same with the unhooking mat. I wouldn't normally use that if I was going somewhere like Sidewell, but there are big carp in here. Just going around, obviously the worm, don't go anywhere without it, and a couple of Mr. McCann's. Yeah, I know it is a bit messy, but there you go. It's not for an ornament, it's there for use. Stiminol, been using that. So that's a worm extract with various different bits in. And then the liquid worm concentrate, don't put that in your tea, and don't spill any at home. I tend to put that in with worm soil and a bit of chopped worm. So just moving round, I'm over here. Like I say, I'm going to be sleeping out under the stars tonight. The old Sidewell trainers, they're getting looking a bit battered, a bit like me. Not going to bother with the bivvy tonight. Keep your waders in the bag over there. These are quite handy. Can't remember who I had these off actually, but they're waterproof, so if you've got your waders outside and it's raining, just flip it over and it keeps them covered. Little call and transition bag, won that in a raffle. Various different bits and bobs, feeders, method feeders. Thankfully, I don't tend to lose too much stuff. On the right, sneaky Daffern Valley Specialist Avon Quiver. Now, I was having some finicky bites this morning, and I thought, oh, rudd or roach, smaller fish. Anyway, first chuck out on the quiver tip. It's up there in the tree somewhere. Tip went round, absolutely stunning rudd, just over £1. And the next chuck in was a tench, so they were there. I just used the quiver tip with Drennan block end feeder, or black cap feeder I should say, short hook length, and like I say, old school, just putting a worm on a size 10 hook, but it worked. And I just keep that there, so when I start getting finicky bites on the 28-yard line, I'll bring that rod in and just put that one straight in, and the tip goes round. It's caught me a few tench doing that this year. I've got my Harrisons there. Had these off Ian Pratt, the Harrisons. These £2 test, plenty powerful. I can normally cast with these 2-ounce feeders, like the corums. With those, they absolutely fly. I think they're actually 2.5 actually, 75 gram. They really do go like bullets. And with a braid, the 2-pound test curve rod, when I was fishing on Gaunts a few weeks ago, over to the island is 19 to 20 wraps. So you're looking, you know, you're over 80 yards, and I was going into a wind. So with that setup, I got there quite easily. Been really happy with these, so thanks to him. Like I say, the old 8000 GTE bait runners, these are a good old workhorse, and I'm sure many of you know as well, the bodies, the 6 and the 8000s, are exactly the same, pretty much the spool sizes. The only difference being is the depth of the spool. So if you get 6 or 8000s, you pretty much end up with the same reel. Tried and tested. I just keep them cleaned and give them an oil now and again. I haven't actually probably ever sent them away for servicing. I guess I should do, but they've never let me down over the years. And going down to the sort of rig end, obviously fish a heli rig. Earlier in the season I was using probably around 3.5 to 4 inch hook links, and I've gone up to 5 at the minute because I was getting some pernickety takes a few weeks ago. So I just lengthened the by 1 inch on the hook link, and that made the difference. Obviously these worms have been here frying in the sun, and they've been out in the lake as well. As I said, everything here, it's all industrial. I'd normally have an extra couple of worms on there. I'll take them off ready for recasting. And I use a relatively long hair there. Probably normally put around about 3 worms on there, and I put them on zigzag like concertina style. Like I say, the penetrator one, that's IQ fluorocarbon, £10. Again, the sleeve there just for the kicker, or you know, the boom. I think that's a quarter one. With the lead core, like I say, obviously I just tend to put shrink tube on this, but I'll put 2 bits on. And what I tend to do is I put the second bit over the top of the first, and that basically creates almost like a little ridge on it, so on both ends. So what it basically does, I don't know whether you'll pick that up there, but here I've got this little ridge where I'll cut the second piece just that little bit longer, so when the top bead goes on there, I'm not wedging it over double, I'm just wedging it out, I'm just basically just placing it there, and that is always going to come away with minimum effort. And it's always that top bead which has been the, I guess, there's been much discussion about that, making sure that that can run free, which it does do, and also running over the end of the lead core leader and onto your line so you get a break off. But again, that's just Maplin shrink tube, and I'll put 2 pieces on. I'll shrink the first piece down, and then I'll cut the second piece slightly longer, and it almost makes this sort of a little ridge where that top bead can just sit snugly and come off quite easily. And the bottom bead, again, you can probably put that on with a little bit more force, because the fish is always going to take that down, or pretty much is going to sort of, you know, the bottom bead's not your problem. It's always going to be your top bead. If you haven't used helicopter rigs before, make sure that that top bead comes away with a minimum of fuss. And then the corum sort of kind of window feeders, I like these, and when I bought them last year actually, and then I saw the discussion on our Facebook page about them, saying that, you know, they jammed and they were breaking. I thought, oh, I've bought a pup here then, because I was using the Preston window feeders, and they cast really well. I mean, these cast like a lead. but I've had no issues with these. I've been probably fishing with these since probably March time, and these are the original 3 that I've been using. As I say, with my industrial setups, lead core, you know, sort of braided mainline, which is £25 and whatever. I'm quite lucky that I don't tend to lose too much gear, and what I'm normally hooking, I'm putting on the bank, thankfully, unless like this morning the fish decide to go and put the hook in the weed and do their disappearing act. But there you go, I'll do that on any setup. So realistically, that's my kind of Tenchy tackle box. It's gone on for a bit, and I guess Mr. Kalo can edit it down, because I've waffled on and I've given Dingle Tudor a run for his money, and I've certainly given Leo a run for his money. But as you can probably tell, I'm melting here in the Oxfordshire sunshine. There's a nice little bit of a breeze just sprung up, so I'm going to get some more chopped worm, get some worms on them hair rigs, and get them chucked out, and hopefully this evening I might actually catch something. Right, okay, final instalment. The Daffern Valley £1.25 Avons, and these come, obviously they're an Avon Quiver, and they come with, I believe, 3 tips, which I've got we actually got this on here. Anyway, I've got the most sensitive tip there, which these are make a cracking little rod for you know, for chub on the rivers as well. It's 11 foot. As with everything Daffern Valley, it's just brilliant. I can't fault them. They've used their float rods, and obviously they've got, like, I think it's like an elite range now, which I know those blanks are made by a very well-known high-end company. So I won't, I know who they are, but I won't mention it. But anyway, but this, I've just used these when you get in those pernickety bites, and also use this for coaching. Hence the reason, thank you Mr. Mike Watson. There's a Drennan feeder reel there, which I use, like I say, I use the other one for coaching as well, and it's got on this rod. So dual purpose, fish it with £8 main line there. Another line that I do like, which was recommended to me a long time ago, was the Daiwa Tournament. That's a really good line. It's got like a grey tinge to it, seems to disappear well on the bottom. So maybe when my Pro Gold runs out, I might use Tournament, might use the Gardener. They're both really good lines, but use that in £8 on the feeder. Stiffish fluorocarbon hook link, which is about probably less than 4 inches long. Little buffer bead, which is in the tactical bags there, and I've just got nothing more than a Drennan or a Camazon black cap. I think that's a 30 gram, and I just stuff that with a bit of chopped worm and with a bit of Darren McCann's either the worm juice or the Stiminol, and then just nothing more than just pop in 1 dead Rabina on the sorry Mr. Jackson, the Drennan wide gape super specialist hook. But I've just found these really good. They stay sharp. That's digging in the back of me my nail there, and I've caught quite a few fish on this actually just recently on one of my local waters as well. And I'll say it's just really simple. But these Daffern Valley rods, and actually again I won these in the raffle. I got 2 of them, and I'd broken a Drennan, I think it was a Series 7 that was using for kind of this sort of setup. And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to buy another little sort of 11-foot feeder rod. And then I had that sort of eureka aha moment. I'm like, I want some rods, I know I did. And I went hunting through the garage. Obviously it came up with the Daffern Valleys, and I'm thinking, oh, they're probably not going to be 11 foot, they'll probably be 12. And lo and behold, Daffern's luck again, it was 11 foot. And again today, when they started getting finicky, it's put me another fish on the bank. So just another, maybe another little quiver, or sorry, arrow in your quiver. I know it has been in mine, and again the Daffern Valley, and you know, they're just super rods. from one of our great sponsors, Gary Pete at Tacklebox. I know it's sort of go on and plug in them, but Gary does such a lot for the group, and the tackle that you know, all of the Darren Valley stuff and the Tacklebox branded gear that I use is like I say, the landing net handles. I use the you know, the sort of the rod bands and all sorts of things, and they're just so handy, and they're not overpriced either. So if you haven't had a look at Tacklebox and what they actually do, have a look at their own branded stuff, like you say, the Darren Valley and the Tacklebox range, because there's some absolute gems in there. And every time I look, I think, oh, I hadn't seen that before, and then I end up ordering something. But they're a great supporter of the group, and it's great tackle. Anyway, I have waffled on way too long with my Tenchy tackle box. I was going to do this at home just with the tackle box and the desk in the you know, probably in the winter. And most of you are probably saying, yeah, Daffers, I wish you bloody well had, mate, because you've gone on and on and on. But when you're on the bank and you've got all your bits and bobs around, I thought I'll just show you how the shambling Daffers goes about his fishing. And I think there is some method in the madness somewhere, because I do catch the odd ones. And the other good thing is, at the minute, especially with the coaching, that we're getting a few for the juniors as well, but that's another story for another day. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this might be the odd tip or something that you've picked up in there that's useful, or you might just sit there and think, how on earth does that absolute lunatic catch anything? And I'm going to have to tidy all this up now, and at least I haven't got to put a bivvy up. I'm going to sleep under the stars tonight, and I think over there I've got my mozzie guard, because I'll need it, otherwise I'll get eaten alive. Hopefully I'll get some more fish, and if I do, I'll put them on the Facebook page. You never know, might get a PB. I've had some nice tench out of here before. So Daffers signing off from Unity. See you guys.